G'day F1 energy management fans. Japanese Grand Prix wrapped up. Kimi Antonelli, he's gone back-to-back. He's become the youngest ever leader of the Formula One World Championship, the first Italian to go back-to-back since Ascari all the way back 1952. We saw a big shunt, a 50 G1 for Ollie Behrman. We've seen what Oscar Piastri can do when he actually gets to start a race. And in fact, all 22 cars actually started the race, the first one for the season. Mick, big one to get through, mate. And it is the final one for quite some time.
Unfortunately, the nature of that circuit, I think we actually got to see probably the worst side of the regulations. But on the flip side, young Kimi Antonelli, look, bit of luck, yes, but over, well, was 24, now 22 race season, you're going to need a bit of luck to fall your way. And at the moment, it definitely seems to be falling on young Kimi Antonelli's side.
We're looking at the driver standings. Yeah, he's pulled a nice little lead. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that after Japan. He now has I believe it's a 9-point lead over Russell. Leclerc back in third. Good to see Oscar Piastri make some claw back some deficit as well. Team standings, of course, well, it's the usual. Mercedes out in front by a long shot. But, hey, Fred Vasseur, he's pretty optimistic. Come Miami, it could be a new Formula One World Championship.
Well, you never know. Never know. Look, that they were nowhere near the pace this weekend, were they really? Even McLaren were better than them this weekend. Just goes to show if McLaren can start, they're definitely in the hunt.
Mercedes, starting with them, of course, with the win to Kimi Antonelli from pole, P1, and George Russell. Well, he was pretty feisty there for a while. P4 in the end, though, for poor old George, and he was looking okay. Get a little bit unlucky there with the safety car.
Swings and roundabouts, though, right? Like, at some point, the luck's going to switch. You would probably have to say that Kimi looked more comfortable all weekend, didn't he? And then obviously Russell made that suspension change in qualifying and it went the wrong way. So that meant he was going to struggle in the race. And then we saw he had reliability issues too throughout that race. Deployment issues or battery issues, which then saw Leclerc jump him like he was standing still. Antonelli got lucky, but out of those two, he was probably the better all weekend, I would have to say. And I mean, it's all got to be a wake-up call for Russell now. Still super early, and I still think Russell will get the job done, but I mean, if you're Russell, it's not going to be a cakewalk, is it?
Now, speaking of Oscar Piastri, P2, he's got a 100% success record of podiums this year when he starts a race. In fact, he probably has a pretty decent percentage of laps led as well. He was looking pretty strong there for the moment. Awesome start. What was it? Off from qualifying? No, it was P3. P3 qualifying, so off the second row.
Got the belter
Lando
of
was
the
back
start.
in P5. Yeah.
And
I mean, both McLarens had a great one.
Yeah. And again, that's quickly just jump back on the Mercedes, man. That's Achilles heel there. They need to get on top of that. Whatever they supposedly did to try and fix it clearly didn't work. I think that's like the third bad start out of 4 for Kimi Antonelli.
Yep.
So he's making life hard for himself. But, man, what a weekend for Piastri. Just every time he was on track, man, he just looked solid. Unfortunate for Norris, I think the lack of long running hurt him this weekend. That Mercedes engine in the back, man. Whew. If they can start more races like that, I still think Ferrari does have a better race car, but it might be a little bit more circuit specific. This type of circuit definitely suited the McLaren this weekend.
Yeah, they look good. Yeah. And Piastri, I think what you mentioned, Lando was a bit unlucky. I think in one of the practice sessions, it was the energy recovery system that he had an issue with, so didn't get a lot of the long running. But Piastri did look the more comfortable out of both the drivers. So a good P2 finish. Lando back in P5. I mean, look, Lando was battling hard there for a long time with, Lewis, George, Charles, I think at some point. You have to be pretty confident in McLaren's ability to be able to bring performance to that car over the course of the year, particularly with that Mercedes engine in the back.
Proven. They've got the proven track record of being one of the best teams on the grid at development throughout a season. And that's why I think they're so, despite the bad start to the year, they're very, very confident And I mean, look, that this weekend just proved it. They're going to be in the mix, man, and they're going to take the fight to Ferrari. Still not quite close enough, I think, to Mercedes. But if you can get out in front of those Mercedes with a Mercedes-powered engine car, there's definitely an opportunity. Because look, Russell didn't really look like to be troubling Piastri at the start of that race, and then Piastri managed to pull away, right?
Yeah, he did manage to pull away at some point, but were there some issues with Russell's car? Because it seemed like throughout the race, it didn't seem to be on point. Piastri did say in the post-race interview that it would have been interesting if that safety car didn't come out. I think he was pretty confident that he had enough in the tank to keep Russell behind.
And I think he had the tyre life too, just by being in that clean air. I think at some point Russell started to fall away to try and manage those tyres, because if they did go a lot deeper into the race, I don't think Russell really had anything for Piastri.
From the tyre aspect, it was a bit of a shame that we had basically the whole field starting on the medium.
Yeah.
But I think Valtteri Bottas that went with the hard. So basically they all followed pretty much the same strategy.
Yeah.
Besides Alex Albon, he was definitely doing some pit lane work. We'll get onto that when we visit Williams. But Ferrari, look, I think they'll walk away an understanding that they can't rest on their laurels because McLaren is chomping at their heels. We did see some pretty good racing again from Charles and Lewis. Very tight there. I thought we were close to getting a incident there at turn 1 near the end when Charles went back around the outside of Lewis. I think with the issue with Lewis, I think in the end was probably more tyre deg, it seems to be. He sort of just dropped off.
When you compare the two, Leclerc was definitely way more comfortable this weekend. Hamilton, what did he finish? 6th, and I think that was about where he was all weekend. This style of circuit probably suits Charles a little bit more. He's quite a bit more comfortable with the rear of the car sliding around and not quite, quite gripped up. I think Hamilton really does rely on having a solid rear end, and when that rear of the car's moving around a bit, he's just not quite comfortable, and we saw that this weekend. And you're right, tyre deg, man, at the end, he had nothing to fight with because he was fighting so hard trying to keep up with Antonelli in that after that safety car period. Not Antonelli, sorry, Piastri. Realistically, they were a lot further off than we saw them in China and even Australia, I think, this weekend.
I think if you look at the delta between, if you base it on the qualifying sessions over the 3 race weekends, maybe they were a little bit off. But what they didn't get this weekend was the launch of the start and getting in front early.
Yeah.
So that's probably what has kept them a lot closer, or at least made people think they were a lot closer to Mercedes than what the reality really is.
Yeah.
They weren't able to do that today, and we did see that's where McLaren had their opportunity. If Fred Vasseur is sounding pretty positive about coming to Miami, I mean, that's really realistically based on what you talked about in, I think, the preview. What's the thing regarding the engines?
Oh, the
acronym ADUO
or something?
Yeah. But wouldn't that be too early? Because that would only be the 4th race weekend. But are they pushing that earlier because of the 2 races being cancelled?
Yeah, I think they are bringing it in earlier. That's the talk that's going around. Man, you caught me off guard there. I was like, what are you talking about, dude? But yeah, no, I get what you're saying, yeah.
That's what Fred's alluding to, I believe, come Miami, why he's optimistic.
Yeah, plus I think over this 5-week break, I think they're doing some filming days and they're going to test. It's almost like a B-spec car, I guess you would say. They've got some massive upgrades coming, and again, they're quite buoyed by that. Vasseur's quite confident, and they're going to test those in the filming day. I think with the filming day, you get something like 200 kilometres. So to test, I don't know whether that's over both cars or just one car. Let's be honest. Really, if they can fix the power deficit, they're in the hunt. The circuits we've been to with the, big long straights and where Mercedes can really open and deploy that energy, they're no chance.
Got a little bit of a wait to see, but it would be good if they can close the gap. Now, promotion time. Promotion time. Alpine.
Minister of Defence.
Alpine. Mate, Pierre Gasly, P7, but let's not forget he did get into Q3 for qualifying, which he's making a massive habit of.
Yeah.
I mean, where did he qualify? P7.
Yeah.
P7 and teammate. Well, this was a pretty tough weekend for Franco Colapinto because P15, so into Q2 for qualifying, but really wasn't anywhere in the race besides the big highlight, you could say, with Ollie Behrman.
Yeah.
But let's go with Pierre. It was a big defensive effort. He had Max Verstappen sniffing his gearbox for a long, long time.
What a gun, man. I think Gasly's just, at the moment, he's probably one of the most underrated drivers on the grid. Yeah, unfortunately for Colapinto, he's got to pick his game up, man, because when Gasly's doing performances like that, it makes you look even worse.
And it's a shame because this is what we haven't really seen from Colapinto, particularly even on the back end of last year, where he gets a good result, but then just can't string it.
Yeah, can't string them together and doesn't back it up. But I mean, man, that team's got to be pretty happy, man. They've got a strong package, man. They've got a good package. Unfortunately, it's just not both drivers consistently eking the performance out of it, and he seems to be sort of one at the moment. You got to be happy, man. You weren't sitting in fifth last year, this time last year. So
16 points, sitting P5, tied with Racing Bulls, just behind Haas in P4 with 18.
Got to be happy about that for now.
Yeah,
but
for now. But it's a good start, positive start. Speaking of Red Bull, Max Verstappen picking up a few points with P8. Wasn't ideal qualifying from him, eliminated in Q2. Hadjar had the Q3 appearance, but unfortunately for Hadjar, he started going a little bit back during the race. But
did he get a poor start?
I think he dropped one position because I remember seeing him at like P9th at one point. But it just seems that he just didn't have the pace in the early stages, and he was getting into quite a pretty big battle with he got stuck behind Lindblad for a long time, and he was battling really hard with Lindblad. Yeah, I think Hadjar would be pretty disappointed finishing outside of the points, particularly, starting in the top 10. Bit unlucky. He was one of the few guys that was unlucky with regards to taking the pit stop before
the safety car, yeah.
Before the safety car came out. Around then, he was sort of battling around that 9th, 10th position.
He had a busy
from
day.
that point forward.
He
did because he was getting into battles with, I think, Hulkenberg at some point. I mean, it would have been fun, but
well, if you're the one doing the passing.
Yeah, that's really the issue. But Max Verstappen, big news before the weekend even started regarding the journalist not wanting to speak to a certain journalist from that he had a bit of a run-in with Abu Dhabi last year.
It just feels like the talk's getting a bit louder and louder and louder about him. He's even come out and said he's got to sort some things out, and they're like, what do you mean? And he's like, life.
Yeah.
They're not forcing him out, but I feel like the more this sort of shit carries on.
Yeah. He's a no-nonsense fella, mate.
Yeah.
Doesn't want the circus, but perhaps maybe it is best just to shine away from the media and not say too much because they'll just spin.
Yeah, but then you got the
bullshit.
F1 coming out and jumping off the back of him. The team's jumped on the back of him. The talk of him maybe looking outside of Formula One's growing a little bit louder. All this sort of stuff's bubbling away, and all it's going to do is push him away from Formula One, which we don't want. We want to see him in Formula One.
Sabbatical. Sabbatical is calling.
I mean, it'd have to be a pretty long sabbatical because I don't think he'd come back while these rules are in place. Yeah, but, man, look, that car's just nowhere near where it needs to be. Is it?
Watching onboard and qualifying yesterday, it was a handful.
Yeah.
Absolute handful.
The balance is not where it needs to be, especially for Max. Definitely not happy. I think Hadjar seems to be doing all right. Maybe a little bit more comfortable than Verstappen this weekend. I mean, even the upgrades they brought, man, didn't seem to really do too much. And that's about where they are at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Around that 8th place. Unfortunately, he was trying to pass Gasly with a Mercedes engine in the back and just couldn't figure out where to get it done.
I don't know if you saw it. I was riding on board with him for a short time when he was battling hard with Gasly. And he probably did it for shits and giggles, mate, just to prove a point. But there was a point there where he depleted basically all his battery power energy, right? He was probably only 3/4 down the main straight. and it was so slow, and Gasly just rocketed past. And yeah, I mean, when you see it like that, it's definitely not ideal.
Definitely saw a lot more of that this weekend, man. Like those passes on the main straight, if you've got no battery, dude's like
the deficit's massive.
Massive, man. We even saw it with, Colapinto and Behrman, man.
Ollie.
Whew.
Yeah, big one. Big. All right, Racing Bulls P9 for Liam Lawson. Unfortunately, couldn't hook up this Saturday. Had an issue with his front wing, I think in Q2, which probably hurt him a little bit. But it was awesome. Arvid Lindblad did get into Q3, but unfortunately wasn't able to pick up points today with finishing back, I think, P14. Again, a driver that was unlucky with the pit stop.
He got darted in that pit stop, man. He was battling with Hadjar, right? Then he came in. I didn't actually see what happened. All you saw was the rear of the car just sitting there. Well, did he have a slow stop or was it a slow stop? Because Hadjar was getting pretty fired up about what was going on there and Lindblad possibly moving under braking and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, it was noted for it. Did you get a black and white flag for it?
Because nobody said anything about, or we saw a replay of a slow stop.
No, I didn't see his slow stop at all. Didn't. He was struggling a bit near the end of his stint, though. I was watching closely between Lawson, Hadjar, and Lindblad. Yeah, he was struggling a little bit near the end. But I think it was just more so because so much pressure with Hadjar.
Yeah.
He was pushing pretty hard, and which enabled the rest of the field to sort of get on the back. So he became a bit of a cork. But yeah, unfortunate, but a good weekend overall.
Obviously, before the safety car came out, that cost him the place to Hadjar, was the slow stop. Because he was fighting hard with Hadjar, came in, had a slow stop, then Hadjar jumped him, and then obviously then you had the safety car, which then ruined both their races. I don't know whether it was kind of like Red Bull going, excuse me.
Yeah, not sure. Because it was getting feisty.
It was getting heated, eh?
And Hadjar on the radio apparently
he was not happy, eh? It was good.
It was like F2 days, mate.
Yeah.
Hadjar going wild.
But Lindblad, man, showing, likes to get the elbows out.
Yeah,
likes to get the elbows out. But hey, look, again, we talk about luck. Lawson got a bit of luck, made it count, got some points.
Yeah, made it count. Yeah, he got the bonus of the pit stop under the safety car.
Did a good job of keeping Ocon behind too, eh? Because Ocon was around that eight tenths behind pretty much the whole race.
Yeah, for a long time there. 6 to 8 tenths and just couldn't get through. So again, Liam doing a good job getting to the top 10. That's what you got to keep doing, mate. And he's in the top 10 of the World Drivers' Championship. Which I'm pretty happy about.
Car's good, man. That car's good.
Let's go to Haas. And finally, Esteban picked up his first point of the season, I think, which is good. He needed it. He outperformed Ollie. He outqualified Ollie as well, I think, for the first time this year.
Ollie had a gearbox issue.
He had the issues, though, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that shunt in the race, massive.
Man.
And he'll be one of the drivers that's pretty happy to have the next few weeks off, mate, because he looked a bit sore.
Yeah. What was it, 50G?
Yeah, 50G. Just an easy 50G impact.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it'll rub out, mate.
Yeah. Rub it out, mate. Rub it out.
You'll be good.
But, I mean, Ocon looked more comfortable this weekend than Ollie did. Like you said, Ollie had a bit of a scrappy weekend, whereas Ocon looked a little bit more settled here. He's going to go into that break now a little bit more content and probably release just that little bit of pressure. I don't know, man. I thought they were going to be a lot better here than what they were.
Yeah, a bit disappointing. I mean, they had a great livery. The livery was stacked for a great weekend. Forgot to mention Racing Bull's livery. It was a top one as well. But yeah, they had a nice Godzilla livery, the Haas team, and obviously partnering with Toyota would have got plenty of hometown support.
Yeah, I think they'd be a little bit disappointed, eh? I reckon, and I think they maybe thought that they'd be a lot better here than what they were.
Yeah. Well, walking away from the weekend with 1 point and a massive damage bill, you're not going to be too impressed. Speaking of disappointing, and I would say that was Audi to walk away from this weekend with no points. Hulkenberg P11 and Bortoleto MP13, because when you look at what they did over the practice sessions, they look pretty pacey. Qualifying-wise, we had Bortoleto sneaking into Q3, Hulkenberg starting from P13. So Bortoleto starting from P9. The car had pace. I think the car definitely had pace. I want to know what happened to Bortoleto because he was one of the guys, well, both Bortoleto and Hulkenberg, they profited off the safety car pit stop.
Yeah, I think they had a terrible start. I think they got monstered at the start, eh? But yeah, 100% right, man. That's disappointing because you're right. That car was definitely close to best of the rest.
Well, it was the first race in charge for Binotto, no Jonathan Wheatley. But Audi, after this 3 weekends, they sit in P8 in the Constructors' Championship. And when you look at the numbers, only 2 points. It's unfortunate because I think they have had a far more impressive season than what the lone 2 points suggests. Plenty of reliability issues, though.
That's it. That's what's hurt them, right? Because, like you said, their performance and the car performance has definitely been better than what the points show.
Williams. Carlos again. P15. Probably extracted everything he possibly could out of that car. There's really not much more to get out of it besides capitalizing on a bit of luck, I think. But qualifying-wise, he again out-qualified his teammate. Albon was one of the unlucky ones to be eliminated in the first qualifying session. So it was a P17 start for Alex, P16 start for Carlos. Alex, though, what Williams was up to with that race, he was classified 20th in the end of last of the runners, but he actually did about 5 pit stops.
Well, maybe they were trying to fix whatever Alex's problems are because he's definitely not comfortable compared to his teammate. Definitely not comfortable with this set of regulations maybe compared to Carlos. But you look at that circuit, man. Look at that first sector. When you're driving a big fat whale and how quickly you've got to try and move that mass from left to right, you're going to struggle. Plus then you've got this so-called three-wheeling issue that you got to get on top of. They were never going to be any good this weekend. Albon's a little bit lost in regards to how to extract the most from what he's got. Because at the moment, Sainz definitely is making it look a lot easier of the two.
Yeah, definitely one of the biggest disappointments so far in the 2026 season. Valves, get it together, mate, and get it together quickly. Okay, well, the bottom dwellers, it is a little win to Cadillac, finishing ahead of the best Aston Martin. So Sergio Perez, P17, classified on lap, 92 seconds behind, and Valtteri Bottas, P19, 1 lap behind. Again, there's really not much to say about Cadillac. It's purely winning by getting both cars to finish the race.
In that race with Aston Martin, if you can get both cars to finish the race, you're getting more data than your competitor, which is only going to help you later on in the season. I think it's a win for them to just keep getting both cars finishing, competing in every session, and they're doing a better job than Aston Martin at the moment.
Can you even recall seeing any of the Cadillacs on the racetrack today?
Yeah, Perez was sitting in, was it second or third during the safety car?
Yeah. That's true. That's all I can remember.
That's all I remember.
That was the highlight, the Cadillac highlight, running P2 a lap down.
Yeah, but they just got to continue. I think Loudon said, we just keep chipping away. We know where we are. We're not expecting miracles. We just got to keep bringing these little upgrades and big upgrades. I think they, on the F1 show before the race, was it Beretta? Was it Beretta or Beretta?
Beretto. Beretta's the
Beretta's
Beretto is the pundit.
Yeah, they did a quick interview with both Perez and Bottas, and they said, Bottas goes, look, we've got a major upgrade coming from Miami, and then made a joke at, look out, Mercedes. But then Perez did drop a hint. He said something about a different colour. I don't know whether it was a slip of the tongue, because he said it, And then it was like, then the little episode finished.
It is Miami, though. They do most teams bring out a lot of livery and merch, special editions.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to Ferrari's one this year. Where are you going to go with that?
Oh, mate. Who knows? Just if they're going to do the blue thing, do the whole full blue, based on the North American racing team or whatever it was, where they ran that livery for that one season, I think way back in the 60s, I believe it was. Well, I'm sure we'll have these conversations again come Miami.
Yeah.
But when you think of Cadillac on track, they do need something to stand out because they're not getting any TV time. So do something. Do something where your car pops.
Yeah, but maybe that's not a bad idea for now. Just blend in with the background, fly under the radar, not too much attention. Like I said, I think Perez let slip that the car might look a little bit different in Miami, but unfortunately we're going to have to wait ages for that. As bad as it is, it's a perfect weekend for them, man. They had no reliability issues. They completed every session, got into qualifying, finished the race. Perez maybe looked better of the two. I think he was pretty much ahead of Bottas all weekend.
Aston Martin, well, I think did you make a big bold prediction that they would get 2 cars finishing the race? Was it you?
Yeah. I said that they were going to make their big focus this weekend, obviously being Honda's home race, was to get both cars to finish the race.
Yeah.
Fortunately, only one car finished the race, and that was the magic daddy hands of Fernando Alonso. Yeah. Just that soft touch of being a dad now. Obviously, I'll tell you
mellowed out. Just mellowed them out. Mate, I tell you that, though, you got to be pretty impressed with Alonso because he is pretty mellowed out.
Yeah.
A lot of the interviews and everything, despite us going, no, he's not going to finish the season. He's definitely going to pack his bag soon.
I still think that's on the cards now. Yeah. He's going to go home to his newborn for the next 4 or 5 weeks, and he's probably going to sit there and go,
oh, I don't know, mate.
It might take him 4 weeks for the feeling to come back in his fingers.
I don't know. Newborns are pretty tough, mate. Like spending a bit of times with a recent newborn.
Well, you reckon he's just going to stick out the season just to stay away from the kid?
It's hard. That initial phase of newborn phase is hard work. So let's see.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think given the age he's at now, where he is in his career, being a new dad, and maybe going, look, is there any point? Is there? Like, okay, he might see out the end of the season, but I don't know if he'll stick around for next year. Oh,
mate, yeah. It's
given his contract's up too at the end of the year.
Great driver and all, but realistically, there's so much young talent coming through.
He's not going to be short of finding drives elsewhere in something else. He may end up in WEC, might go back to IndyCar. Who knows? But I just don't think, given the season that he's having, if it does not improve, I think that the motivation is going to be paper thin.
Okay, obviously the uncompetitive car is a massive thing, but just the style of racing. I just think for him, this whole energy management, not being able to race like on the edge. Like, I mean, how embarrassing, like take this weekend, for example, 130R.
Yeah.
One of the gnarliest corners in Formula One history. Drivers been on the edge through there, whether they lift or not, and now they're just taking it
Well, they're still so flat. Times. They're just not. They're just decreasing in speed, but they're still taking it flat. But
is that the style of racing that someone like Fernando Alonso wants to be involved in?
He's not even being able to race anyone.
Yeah,
because that car's just terrible. Boring. But no, you're right. Style of racing, very similar, I guess, maybe to Max, where it's not appealing to him.
Well, I think there's quite a few drivers now that are starting to voice their opinions a bit more strongly. Yeah. Definitely noticing it. They're definitely treading a fine line. Like Max is black and white. He'll just tell you how it is.
Yeah.
But there are some more dissenting voices coming through with a lot of the drivers. Again, though, we've discussed so many times, double-edged sword. We did get some good racing today. We've had 3 solid race weekends.
Yeah.
But there is that missing element of being able to see the cream of the crop drivers rise to the top by not just having the biggest kahunas, but just being able to have the car on the edge.
Yeah, but I still think
on
a
some
lot
of
of
these
it,
crazy corners.
I still think Formula One, man, is if you're not in the best car, it doesn't matter how good you are.
Yes, well, no, that's always going to be that way.
You can make the difference.
It's always going to
at some point, but
I think what we've done is we've closed the skill gap of the drivers. So we're not rewarding the drivers with the actual best racing skill now. We're rewarding the drivers with the best management system. The drivers that are able to manage the energy the best, it's gone too far that way.
That's still a skill in itself, though.
It is still a skill, but the tradition of racing cars is the guy that can put the car on the edge, extract the most out of it through, whether that's through having no fear, scruffing a car by the seat of the pants, that type of thing. We're losing that, and we're moving more towards the drivers that can compute more in the sense of when to hit a boost button and when not to.
I think that's the sign of the times, right? Look where we are now, and technology. It's just the way we're moving. I agree with you. Like, there's nothing better than seeing like Lewis Hamilton or Fernando Alonso or Max Verstappen, say around Qatar, like we saw last year, man, just ragging the things on the absolute edge. We're moving away from one skill and just shifting to another. It's So,
well, it's an adaptation. It's always happened throughout Formula One. We can go back to the early 90s.
Yeah.
We, stick shift clutch disappeared.
Yeah. Went to the paddles.
And then we went into paddles. We've gone through the phases of traction control, that type of thing. I do get that, but I think what we're seeing is we're seeing drivers that are sort of the cream of the crop lose their edge. Well, so you could argue, you could make the argument. You could make the argument why Hadjar's say closer to Verstappen, or because the drivers aren't on the edge anymore.
Yeah, but then that's
a lot of the time.
But that's just a different way of racing.
Yeah, but is this what we want F1 to become?
Well,
is this what you want F1 to be?
Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the best drivers are still going to win. Different type of crop is coming up. You're getting a different cream of the crop rising to the top. Yo, 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 yo.
But even what you said, the best drivers are going to win, but that's not necessarily the case, because what you said before is generally the best car will win, as long as the driver's good enough in the car.
The best drivers in the best cars will win.
Right?
Yeah.
But is this what we want Formula One to be? Because it doesn't need to be that way. We could still go...
Doesn't bother me, man. Racing's racing, whether it's flat out or semi-flat out. Racing's racing, right? I'd much rather see racing like we've seen than what we saw the last 2-3 years, right?
This is why it's been heavily debated, because what we have seen over the first 3 races this year has been better than most of the racing we saw last year.
Yeah.
I just think there is probably a way to balance this out a little bit more, but I think it's
going to take time.
Yeah, we need to see this evolve. We need to see it play out.
Yeah, I think when we get to hopefully not that long, but say maybe, next year I think we'll be better again. The year after that will be better again. And then in the final year of the regulations, I think we'll be pretty close to where we kind of need to be in regards to what you're saying as well.
I think once they balance it out, it'll be a lot better. And it is going to be track specific. You look at what we've had, the 3 races, not a lot of heavy braking zones in Melbourne, not a lot of heavy braking zones in Japan.
The good thing is, though, I would say the FIA is making a conservative effort to constantly improve the rules and not just setting the rules and going, right, now users figure it out. They're going to tweak it and try and make it better. At least they're not sitting still.
Just more transparency, please. We don't need the cover-ups. Taking away the onboards through 130R. Let's see Kimi Antonelli's pole lap, and then all of a sudden, a few hundred meters before 130R, it's like away, external. And then we've had talk about the telemetry data not syncing up properly. And so
Yeah.
if going down that route, stop it. People are going to call you out. It's going to cause much more. People are just going to lose their minds a whole lot more.
Yeah, I think they just got to keep reiterating, like, just give us time. Like, the good thing is you're seeing good action on track.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's been boring. It's just the way that they have to go racing now is not what we're traditionally used to seeing. As long as Formula One are not just sitting there going, this is it. If you don't like it, too bad. They're going to constantly tweak it. Look, they put the rules in place to bring the engine manufacturers closer together. Again, ends up going back to the teams to make sure that they can deliver the best car possible so the best drivers can rise to the top. It's just the way that they have to do it now is a little bit different. Just getting in the thing and being the fastest and the biggest balls is not the way to win anymore.
I think it will evolve out in the right direction because, like you said, I think the FIA do understand that there does need to be some balancing going on. Unfortunately, we now enter this big, long break where this is going to be probably one of the big talking points.
Well, it's not the best race to finish it on, is it? Really? Like, if you finish it on China, I think it would have been a better look. But the race that we had...
To be fair, it wasn't a bad race.
Yeah, I thought the race was
a pretty
good.
decent race.
And it kind of felt like it sort of, because it was kind of a harder track to overtake, it did slip back into that traditional, it felt like a little bit more of a traditional race in terms of, it was just a traditional one-stop.
Well, especially, the one-stopper for sure.
Couldn't really pass. So it did kind of feel like a race of old in a certain aspect. But I think if we finished somewhere like China, when we saw the racing that we did, it would have definitely looked better for Formula One.
Just like drivers say, it's all about the last result.
You're only as good as your last result.
Only as good as your last result. That's for sure. All right. So prediction time. It is 2 apiece. Now you went with George Russell for pole. He was meant to get the win. I think he had Kimi for second.
Yep.
And Lewis for third. So
reliability issues, box. You were nowhere. DNF.
Don't nutted.
Don't nutted.
Now, I went with Kimi Antonelli as the pole guy. So, boom, scored a goal, top right corner. But who did I go with? Charles Leclerc for the win. I think Kimi for second and Lewis for third, if I remember correctly. So, 3-2 into my favour.
Damage limitation. Just keep that gap close. Keep that gap close.
Yeah. It's all about keeping in touch.
At some point, the deployment will come good. That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
When you think about it, 3 races, 3 points to me, 2 to you. Yeah, I mean, a prediction game is not very strong when you look at what we're able to get right. So, big break. What are we planning to do, Mick, content-wise?
I don't know.
And now I haven't even, this is way off script. I haven't even given you any preparation for this. What pops into your mind? Give us some of your creativity, your genius.
I think we should talk about Mr. Max Verstappen and just some of the comments coming out of this weekend. It is Formula One. There is going to be some stuff flying around, and I think some of it might be on purpose to keep Formula One at the forefront of people's minds and in the headlines, let's say, so people don't forget about the sport. Because I think, apart from the Weezer era, pretty unprecedented having a 5-week break at the start of the season, right?
Yeah. Well, if you go back to the old days, for sure. But in modern times, I can't think of such a large gap.
Apart from, like I said, the Weezer days. I don't remember having
Every time you say the Weezer days, I'm just thinking of like the band.
The band.
People are like, what's he talking about? The Weezer days?
Well, I don't know if I can say it. Otherwise, we might get taken off air.
To be fair, the Weezer Blue album, goated.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. But, I think it's going to be interesting, man. I think there's going to be a lot of storylines coming out.
Any big predictions on your end? Give us the hot story before anyone else can.
I don't know. I think there'll be something will come out about Mercedes. There'll be talk of Verstappen. There'll be the Aston Martin rumour mill will continue to swirl around.
Oh, yeah, Wheatley, Newey. I think one of the big ones that will probably be headlines will be around Alpine and whatever consortium or individual. Is it Mercedes? Is it Toto? Is there
Toto Wolff
Horner in the mix?
He has bought his stake in Alpine. And there'll be the rumours of Christian Horner still going to Aston Martin. Lewis Hamilton and Kim Kardashian will no doubt be seen out in public.
Yes.
I don't know, whatever she's doing, she needs to do it a little bit harder because it seems to be working.
The curse hasn't affected him. He's
I don't know.
He's been rejuvenated. It's a rejuvenated Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, he's feeling free.
Yeah.
Free and empty of pressure.
Oh, God. We are scraping the bottom of the barrel now.
Who cares, man? I don't care what she does. Do whatever you need to do because it's working. He's certainly back in the mix.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, man, there's going to be plenty to talk about. I'm sure there's going to be no doubt there is going to be plenty for us to talk about. It's just a shame that we are going to have to wait 5 weeks for another Grand Prix.
Well, I want to leverage off our viewers. And it's not a big viewership.
But there's some.
But there's some. And we do have some absolute legends that do return to most videos and comment, etc. So throw us some questions, mate. Like throw down some questions, comments of what we could do because look at us. Just look at us. Look into our eyes. We're not exactly the most creative of geniuses. Please help us out because 5 weeks is a long time to go with no racing. But as we did mention, there'll be plenty of rumors, no doubt, and speculation. And of course, those people that do come and visit and watch a few of our videos, if you haven't subscribed, hit that button, hit the like button. I hate having to shill the channel, but there we go. Put out the shill. Let's wrap it up. Last comment, final thoughts. Mick, what have you got? It's the last one for quite possibly some time.
Oh, I've got nothing. Nah, look, man. Unfortunately, like you said, 5 weeks, but I think what we've seen so far of the 2026 Formula One season is better than what I expected in terms of racing. Maybe not the way we go racing, but I think people will get used to that over time. We now have the youngest Formula One championship leader. I mean, he's been stout, and I think he's proven that he's going to stick it to George Russell, and it's not going to be such an easy fight. Ferrari, nice to see them competitive again. I feel like I'm doing like a mid-season review here, right?
Wrap-up.
But look, a lot of teams, man, we'll be thankful this weekend's over. Great way to finish the mini-season for McLaren. A lot of work for Red Bull. Lawson, man, great way to start the season. Hamilton, man, back in the fight. Yeah. Shit, man, 5 weeks. Shit. No, but yeah, look, stay tuned because we will bring you plenty of content over that time. Some of it might be absolute dribble, but I'm sure most of it will be informative. So until then, we will catch you in the next one.
Catch up. Where's this fucking stop button?
Hit the stop button.
Where's the stop button?